Hi everyone, this is Mr. Book 451 at outlook.com, welcoming you to my latest YouTube video. Now, regulars will have spotted that I said latest and not given it a number. And the reason I've done that is I used to say, oh, this is my fifth, this is my sixth, this is my seventh, but actually I'm going to really start focusing now on offering you things that when they're sold, I'm going to take the video down. So it's irrelevant whether it's the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever. So it's just my latest one. And this one is all about a really interesting magazine from the 1970s, published by New English Library. And this is the massive Science Fiction Monthly. Now, if I put my hands in the picture there, you will see that these are huge. It's almost like the size of a newspaper. And I have really fond memories of this magazine because when I was growing up in South London in the 1970s, I lived in a place called Epsom, which is most famous for the Epsom Derby horse race. But it was very close to where I went to school in Sutton. I went to a school in Sutton and there was a W.H. Smith's in Sutton. And I would go in there at the age of, I must have been, 11, 12, and bought my first science fiction paperbacks with my pocket money. I bought New English Library, Isaac Asimov, the Space Ranger series, and obviously the Robert Heinlein juveniles as well. So I kind of cut my teeth on those juvenile writers from America, but there were British writers that I bought, like Brian Aldiss. I bought Earthworks and Greybeard. Well, if you've ever read Greybeard, you know, that's not really the sort of thing an 11-year-old boy would understand, perhaps, and same with Earthworks and this sort of thing. So there was stuff that was targeted at juveniles from New English Library and stuff that wasn't. But they were generally a really, really interesting publisher, and one that's now receiving a lot of attention. So what I've got for you here is a complete set. So we start with volume 1, number 1, and there were 3 volumes, but volume 3 only had, let me just get this for you, only had 4 issues. So there is the last issue. And as you can see, Chris Foss, Tim White, so art was a really important part of these magazines. D.G. Compton, British author. There we are. Gary Kilworth, British. Okay, Robert Silverberg. So there was a combination of US and UK. A Frias issue with a wonderful cover. I had the great pleasure of meeting Frank Kelly Frias at one of Tom Lesser's shows many years ago. And he did a lovely little sketch of my daughter in her pram. He was basically at Tom Lesser's paperback show doing little illustrations for people, you know, to earn a few bucks, as they say in America, a few bucks. Now, there we are, Bruce Pennington. There's a name that is really, really synonymous with New English Library. And it really did sort of, I suppose, feature a lot of British writers. Brian Aldiss there and Chris Priest in number 1. What have we got here? Chris Foss again, Bruce Pennington. So the art was a really major part of what they were doing. It was a really kind of, they really tried hard, I think, with this magazine. Bob Shaw, look, Terry Greenough. They really did try hard. And I think it's an amazing magazine. I mean, some of these covers were used on paperbacks, obviously. They were kind of promoting the paperback line in what they were doing. Now what I've got here for you is the complete set. And as you've probably seen from the issues that I've featured here under the camera, they are in beautiful condition. There is just that little bit of rubbing and wear on that spine. But the thing with this magazine, because it was so large, the temptation, and I'm not going to do it, was to fold it. Okay, and I think if you are following sales of this magazine on a popular auction site, eBay, you will know that usually what you see is copies that are well read, very sort of rubbed around the edges and folded in the middle. Now I've done a little bit of digging around on eBay, and you know, the going price for these seems at the moment to be between 10 and 15 quid. And that's for copies that range anywhere between sort of well read and, you know, ready for the wood burner. So look at that, beautiful, beautiful, no creases. And I think that's really key with this magazine because of the art inside. So let me give you an example of that. Shows you how well these videos are put together, that I haven't done this in advance. But I just want to find that one, there we are, that really special issue here. And they all sort of, you know, one of the reasons I think these are so rare in really nice condition is that they promoted it with posters. So the idea was that you split the magazine up and you put the posters up on your wall. When, you know, that destroys the magazine. Now, this is obviously David Pelham, really now becoming very, very collectible for the work he did with Penguin Books. There you can see the J.G. Ballards, and this is the Pelham issue. And, you know, you get this amazing, you take the sort of print out, you get this amazing poster there, and these are in superb condition. And, you know, back in the day, I remember we used to joke, and I'm talking about the 1980s, 90s, that New English Library should actually be called New English Lavatory. And that is because the paper quality was fit for toilet paper, not for producing magazines. And they got a bit of a name for this, because if you're familiar with the paperbacks, you'll know that the browning on those paperbacks is almost impossible to stop. And therefore, to get copies like this with just the merest hint of tanning around the edges is quite special, I think. These are, to my knowledge, completely complete. They are, you know, I think, particularly rare in this condition. Now, as I say, there's people who are selling odd copies here or there, but what I'm offering you today is a complete set, and what I would regard as a uniform set. So they have a little bit of wear, but it's common wear. In other words, they look good together. They've all got the same amount of wear. You don't have one in the middle with a great big fold in it or something. So these are copies that are, I think, about the best you're going to find. And it's a complete set. And if they were, I don't know, £20 a copy, there are 28 issues. And that would be, well, if there were 28 issues at £10, that would be 280. So if they were 28 issues at £20, that would be £560 for the set. And you can imagine that somebody on eBay with one really nice one would be saying, oh, this is £20, because they're 10 to 15. I'm going to sell this set, and this is including the postage. I'm selling this set for just £250. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to guarantee you that these will be packed really, really well, because obviously sending a large item like this in a post is not an easy thing to do, especially if you were sending one. That would be really difficult, wouldn't it? You can imagine sending one. So I'm going to pack these in a box that is, you know, double-walled box, plenty of bubble wrap. That will be included in that price. But also what I'm going to offer you is a little special, and that is I'm going to put in this promotional flyer, because a lot of these are to do with that art of the 70s and early 80s. Bruce Pennington. This is a flyer for an exhibition that was held at the Atlantis bookshop. I'm just looking for it. Oh yeah, 2011. So 13 years ago, Bruce Pennington, the exhibition. And there's quite a scarce little bit of ephemera there. And that's going to go with those. So for that figure, you're going to get the set in near fine condition. I'm not going to say they're fine, because you can't say that with magazines with a little bit of, just a little bit of creasing there and a little bit of aging. So they're near fine. They're about as good as you're going to get. And I'm going to pop that Bruce Pennington little flyer in with them. Now, as you're probably aware, I've been very busy recently because I've been with Jules Burt at the London Paperback and Pulp show, which was part of the ephemera show. I have to say that was a fantastic day. Please watch his video if you get the opportunity. Just go to Jules Burt on video on YouTube and you'll see it. I should say I'll put a link in the description, because that's what people always say, but I'm learning. Now, one of the things you may have noticed is that there are no shadows on this video, okay? I'm showing you these magazines, and have you noticed how there's no, how the lighting and the camera work is so good? I have a consultant who has helped me, and I need to give him a shout out. His name is Ashley, and I met him in a pub. And when you meet somebody in a pub, you're never quite sure, you know, of their pedigree. But he did assure me that he has some experience in this field. So I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, I do work in the industry. He said, I'm a cinematographer and lighting director. I said, oh, yeah, okay. What have you done? And he said, well, I've done this thing called Day of the Jackal. And I thought, well, you know, film about wild dogs, you know, some nature thing. Well, maybe. And he said, oh, and I'm also doing something with, I've just finished something with Colin Firth called Lockerbie. I thought, Lockerbie? What's that? Something, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so I said to him, well, he gave me this advice on my lighting and my new setup. So I would like to say thank you to Ashley. And I'm not paying him any money, because I kind of feel that next time he goes to Amazon or Netflix or you know, one of those streaming services and says, I'm a cinematographer, they say, where's your CV? And he'll say, oh, it's here, look, it's got Mr. Book 451 on his CV, that he's been a consultant to me. So I kind of feel that's, you know, that's worth more than money, isn't it? Anyway, look, there we are. What do you think? Lovely. Anyway, this is Mr. Book 451 saying bye-bye, and I will see you for the next one. Don't forget the free little flyer that goes with those. Okay, bye now. Bye.
Pages turn like magic, stories pull us in. Rocket ships and lasers, where dreams all begin. Dystopia and wonder, heroes rise to fight. In the world of fiction, we see the light. Mr. Book 451, selling dreams one by one. Science fiction tales under the sun. Alien invasions, journeys through time. Mysteries unfold. explore.